You're watching my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kamran Ashad. Today, I have invited a guest in this video, and I want to discuss her life, her visions, her goals, and most importantly, her faith. Hi, and welcome. We are delighted to have Nadya Mistry here today. Nadia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, you're most welcome for having me.
Okay, but to start this interview properly, Nadia, could you please tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as founder and designer at Nadya Mistry? And definitely, perhaps share a bit about your journey, which actually helps you leading up to your current role.
Yeah, well, I was always into design, always into art as a teenager, as a young girl, and my parents saw that,
Mm.
I had that inclination. And then growing up, as a teenager, I started design to go to tailors and, get my own designs made. If they thought that and told me that if I wanted to pursue fashion as a career, they'd be most happy with it, and they would encourage it and support me, and they did. And that's how I ended up designing.
All right. And when did you find yourself, if I talk about yourself, and when you think that you are actually made for this, you have to work on this passion as a passion or a professionally. I know a lot of people, they are engaging with you and they are having a discussion with you about the designs or about the market condition. So when did you find and when did you decide that you are gonna do this?
Well, I was when I was in my A levels,
Hmm.
I saw that I think that was the time when I felt that this is it. This is what I want to do, because I was really passionate about clothes. And whenever I used to see fabric or design or magazines, I used to go crazy, and I used to get all motivated and inspired with so many ideas that I couldn't stop myself. And I thought, maybe this is what I should do. So I
Hmm.
discussed it, like I told you, with my parents, and they were happy. And I was looking for colleges in the US, like most teenagers and most A level, O level students,
Hmm.
US, UK.
Hmm.
Which had a specialization in fashion, or just fashion colleges there. But my father surprised me, and he took my portfolio to Paris on one of his business visits there. He was a regular, so he had a lot of contacts, and he knew the ambassador of Pakistan also. And so with the help of that kind of community, he got my admission done and came back and told me about it. And I was like completely shocked and bewildered and amazed, because that is where I never even thought I would go and study fashion. That was the capital of fashion. So for me, it was like a big dream come.
Hmm. And being a female in Pakistan, how much difficulties have you encountered so far?
Oh, being a woman entrepreneur, if
Definitely.
that's what you mean. Yeah, well, it has
Actually,
its
I'm talking.
hardships, but then there are also some.
It's a dominated society, like in
I
men.
can't hear you break.
Hear me?
Yeah, yeah. But I think fashion is relatively easier because there are a lot of females in this field.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see some male sort of people, males who get intimidated by females in the field, especially if they're doing well and if they're more creative, and they want to push boundaries. I think that's when men get intimidated. But otherwise, I've had a good sort of. I've not faced hardships as such being a woman. I think a lot of doors have actually opened for me being a woman. People have been welcoming and respectful, and
Mm-hmm.
so for me, except for the labor class, which gives a hard time to everyone, whether you're male or female, um, generally people have been, very kind to me.
That's great. And did you ever face any kind of harassment or any domination problem?
No harassment as such, no. But people try to dominate you. But I think I do have a very, I'm humble as a person. But if somebody crosses the line with me, I get very dominant myself. So I don't like people coming from the top with me when they're talking to me. I like to talk to people on a one-on-one level. So I deal with people equally, because I don't feel anybody is beyond you, above you, or below you. So that's been a good thing for me.
Okay, that's great. And how do you approach trend analysis in the rapidly changing fashion industry? And how do you integrate these trends into your designs for both men's and women's wear?
Well, I think my philosophy has always been to follow international trends. I do see what's happening in Pakistan, but that doesn't really inspire me because over here everybody jumps on the same bandwagon, and you can't even differentiate one designer style from another. So trends are supposed to be interpreted, in your style. They're not supposed to be just followed without any element of design or input from the designer. People just chapo the trend here and everybody makes the same kind of clothes. I like to give my twist to everything. So if color is in fashion, if if a theme is trending in the fashion forecast, I try to interpret that and sort of put that in my outfits, in my collections, but in my own way, how I see it.
Mm. It's a 24/7 job. It's a very 24, it's 24/7 passion if you are working in fashion industry. So, did you ever feel that you need some motivation or you need some rest in your life?
Rest, I think I do take breaks, and the COVID was a long break. I really became quite complacent, and I think during that time I was extremely laid back because really couldn't do a lot of work. And yes, it is a 24/7 business because especially if you're dealing with international clients like I am. So you're talking to clients in the middle of the night. But lucky for me, I'm a night bird, so it doesn't really bother me much. Early mornings are difficult for me, but if there is work to be done, or if there is an important meeting or something that has to be done in the morning, of course, I wake up and I make sure it's done. Uh, I like to work, so work makes me, keeps me motivated and happy. And I think when I'm happy, I create better. Some artists, I feel, get inspired more and motivated more with sadness or depression, or some kind of like a tragedy or something, disastrous. But I'm somebody who likes to create when I'm happy, not when I'm sad.
And what do you do for fun if you get a time?
For fun, um, yeah, well, nowadays I think the fun aspect is mostly for me is to hang out with my very close friends, my parents also, and my brother. My family is very, very important to me, and we're very close family, mashallah. So, for me, spending time with them is and going out with them, going shopping with my mom or going for lunches with my family, dinners, um, is something that really keeps me happy and it helps me create beautiful memories.
Mm, okay. And can you walk us through your process of creating fashion illustrations and how do these illustrations translate into final garments like if I talk about the particularly or wedding wear?
Yeah, well, I think the process is mostly the same for most art fields. You get inspired by something, sometimes, but the inspiration you can find inspiration in anything. You can find inspiration in a color, you can find inspiration in a book, a movie can inspire you, a current event can inspire you, your mood can inspire you. But how you feel about that subject is what you create. How you see it is what you make. So once you're inspired and you have, you start jotting down, you make a sort of a storyline, storybook, where you have your colors in place that goes with the theme, the fabrics you want to use. Then you start sketching, and so all these things, the silhouettes come to mind. This is what I want. This is the season. This is the occasion. This is the person that I'm designing for. So all these elements have to be taken into account. And then once you start sketching, you start creating, you start putting color and fabric into those sketches, and that's how you create. That's how you come to the materializing of the outfit or the garment.
And do you like cooking? And do you know how to cook? Or just you are manage your time with this
I
type of
used to cook when I was a teenager.
thing? But you seem
When I
to be
was a teenager,
teenager.
I was very fond of cooking.
But
I
you
was very interested. I remember taking up a class as well. But growing up, I have not found cooking to be something that I, aspire to do at all.
mm,
I help around, but it's not something that I want to do. Or maybe at some point later on in my life, I would take it up. But the kind of environment, the kind of cuisine we and Pakistanis eat and Pakistanis make is not something that I'm fond of either. So, it doesn't inspire
mm,
me to cook
mm,
with all that oil and grease and masalas. And, it's not something that I enjoy eating either. So,
mm.
I don't really feel like cooking.
Okay. And with your experience in both retail and fashion design, how do you ensure that your designs are not only innovative but also commercially viable?
Yeah, well, it depends on what you mean by commercially viable, because commercially viable could be mean it's wearable, or it could mean it can make you a lot of money. It can be produced in bulk. It can be wearable for everyone.
Mm,
So I think wearable, something that is wearable for everyone, is brand.
mm,
It's not a designer. Something that is wearable can be a designer outfit. So it can be wearable for fewer people, not the entire masses of people. But so obviously when I'm designing, I do want to think about selling it as well. Sometimes shows may, when you create collections for a fashion show, you do add an element of surprise, and you go beyond your creativity, because it's like a big canvas, and it's a big exposure, and you want to sort of create something opulent, extraordinary. So I think a few outfits here and there one does that, when doing a collection for a fashion show. But otherwise, regular collections that we make sure that I make sure that I have a client in mind, or I have a person in mind who would wear that. So the commercial viability comes in.
mm. Is there any bad experience so far, or that can be shareable?
Bad experience, like what?
Any bad experience?
People copying your stuff, people taking your workers.
I'm talking about the client from the client side.
I've had these kind of issues.
Yeah. So,
No. Clients I've had, mashallah, I have the same clients for the past 20 plus years that I've been, in the industry.
mm,
Almost 3 decades, it's going to be soon.
three de-
So I've had the same clients. The clients have only grown. Sorry?
3 decades?
Yes, I started in 98.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
going to be 3 decades soon.
And you seem to be a teenager as well. That's very awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, this is actually a great thing. If
Yeah, so when I started, so when I started out, I think Allah really blessed me with I had a very prominent store in a prominent mall. And
mm,
so everybody thought that this, designer that has come to the stage, to the scene now, she, with a big name and everything, she must be a really old woman type person. So at that time, people used to get shocked when they used to see me, because I was a girl, like in my 20s. And so now, that's what I'm saying. So, well, I digressed. Sorry, what were you saying? Bad experience with clients? No, I've not had a bad experience with clients. I've had the same clients for a very long time, and they still come to me and they still show me the outfits that they bought 20 years back, 25 years back, and they're like, even though we can't fit into them, we still have them for our daughters.
okay. And how has your education at Lisa, with the focus on fashion design and draping, influenced your approach to designing textiles and garments as well?
For me, it was twofold, because Lisa, where I studied, Lisa was in Paris. So Paris itself is so inspirational as a city. Everywhere you go, you see style, you see fashion, you see art, you see beauty, and you see so much culture. And so that you get, bombarded with these beautiful things. So you stay inspired and you want to create. And then studying at Lisa was absolutely amazing for me because they teach you how to think outside the box. Make you they want you to push your limits. They don't want you to create things that, the typical things. They want you to do something extraordinary. So that itself was very helpful. And then, like, an education in any field, whether it's fashion, whether it's medicine, whether it's architecture, any field, the techniques you can only learn at a school, the basic techniques. So for that, of course, I'm grateful that I went to a school like Lisa, which was a very, very prestigious private institute. And, it helped me a lot with my direction in fashion.
And when someone comes to you to buy clothes and they don't know actually what suits them, so do you convince them or you just agree with them, whatever they say?
Well, some people are adamant that they only want to wear what they want to wear. That
Like
you cannot change those people, but you can. Sorry,
like me.
like they have a certain, yeah, they have a certain design in mind, and they just want to wear that, whether it'll look nice on them or not. It is fine if they feel that confident that they can carry that design. It's fine for me. I mean, uh, you know, I try to add a little twerk here and there and, give it sort of my touch. But mostly a lot of people come to me because I think they trust me and they want my input, and they want to see what I will do, what I will create with what they have, either fabric wise or what they have, like an occasion in mind, some colors in mind. So they come up with basic requisites, and then we take it from there and we design for them.
All right. Nadia, didn't you ever feel that you can be a good anchor in media field?
I felt that a lot, and I've approached people to help me create like a YouTube show or a channel or something. And that is something that I'm really interested in doing, and I'm also very interested in teaching, because I think even when I had my store, I was teaching people.
I have
I
a
used to conduct classes of art and
while I'm talking
design.
to you in this interview.
Sorry.
I've observed a lot of things from your side right now while I'm talking to you since in the interview, and because you have a strong body language, you have a
Really.
clarity in your voice, you know how to carry the things. I'm talking about your dressing sense. Definitely, it's an edge for you. And second thing is that you have a potential as well. And the most important thing which I've observed in you is your strong body language. So these are the parameters if someone wants to go in media field and join that as an anchor, so he or she can get a place. So why didn't you try it?
I've been lazy. Maybe you should push me and we should do a show together.
Ah, I can provoke you.
Perfect. Works for me.
Okay, let's move on, Nadia. What challenges have you encountered when designing for both men wear and women wear? And how do you address the different demands of each?
Well, I think being a designer and somebody who likes challenges, it's not, I really don't think of it as a challenge. I think of it more as something that's going to push me and motivate me. So when men come to me who are interested in fashion and who know about fashion, and they want me to do something, different for them, and, sort of experiment a bit, that really encourages me, because, that makes me feel like, oh my God, here's a Pakistani man or a Western man who's coming to me and he wants me to do something that he has not seen before, that he wants to wear. That would be very much my style. So I think that is something that is very inspirational for me, and I don't think of it as a challenge. Same for women. Mostly women come to me, uh, and they say that, we've come to you because we want something different. We don't want something that is already there that we can buy off another designer.
All right. And in your opinion, what is the role of a fashion designer in business development? And how have you applied your design skills to drive business growth in the apparel and fashion industry?
I really didn't get the question. Can you repeat
Yeah,
it? I'm sorry. There's
yeah,
a lag.
I was asking about your opinion. What is the role of a fashion
Okay.
designer in business development, and how have you applied your design skills to drive business growth and apparel and fashion industry as well?
Well, I think fashion designers, especially in our country, because our country is a textile-based country, the textile is our cash cow. And a fashion designer can help create a big economic boost for the country. If you merge designers and textile, industrialists together, they can do a great job. Designers can create, designers can visualize, even in a business, even if it's a small business of their own. A designer has the vision to see, what she can do with her line of clothing, where she can take it, how she can influence a market, how she can develop a market. But then all designers, like all creative people, they need a business developing person, a person with investment, with sort of more somebody who can sort of handle the business part of fashion, like the accounts and the basic inventory and stuff like that. The non-creative part, the creative part and the vision should be given to the designer, because designing is coming from them. So I think whenever two people come up with a joint venture, like a investor and a designer, they should trust the designer's vision and not overpower that.
And
that's how I see it.
Do you ever feel that one day you will have all this?
I had it. I think I scaled down a lot.
Like business
and
qualification, independent. You are independent as well. So, did you ever feel that one day you will have all this, the status you have right now? Because a lot of with a lot of
I
things.
don't know. I don't feel like I don't. I think I'm very blessed, and I know that I'm very, very, very lucky that I have been given this opportunity, and all these things in life that you may discounted, and I'm always grateful to the Almighty for bestowing all this on me. But I don't feel that this is it. I feel like I can do so much more, and I want to do so much more. Sometimes I become lazy, which is not a good thing. But I think I have a lot of ambition as a person. But my ambition doesn't come from material achievement. I'm not somebody who wants to make say billions and billions of dollars. That is not my aim. My aim is to do something different. My aim is to make a name, an international name, that to leave a legacy that I did something, and I did something different. I created something.
That's great, and that's totally understandable. Nadya, thank you so much for joining us today.
What's your star sign? Sorry, sorry, I cut in.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful having you here and learning from your experiences. But before I wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our audience, or any message you'd like to leave them with?
Yeah, you're most welcome for having me for this show. All I want to say is that, I always say this also, I've said this many times, that you should have fun with fashion. You shouldn't take it too seriously, and you shouldn't think about, oh my God, what's going to happen? What if I wear this? Should I wear this? Should I not wear this? Your mirror is your best friend. And then you also have your own gut feeling. You want to go ahead and try a different color, go for it. You want to try a big print, go for it. There are rules, but really you don't have to follow any rules when it comes to fashion. You can break the rules, you can enjoy and have a good time with fashion.
Or any suggestion, any message for me?
For you?
Yeah.
You should wear color. You should wear more color.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nadya. Thanks for your time. Thanks for participation, and you have given us a lot of good things, a lot of advices, which is gonna help to the people who will watch this interview or a podcast or listen this interview. Thank you once again, and I'll try to invite you with another episode because you have a lot of potential and I have a lot of questions to ask you. And I will definitely invite you to the second episode of this podcast and will ask that questions for you, which is gonna help for those people who are thinking what to do in Pakistan right.
Absolutely. It will be my pleasure. I'd love that.
All right. Thank you so much once again. Have a nice day.
Most welcome. You too. Thank you.
I love this.
Allah Hafiz.